Greetings. So one of the skills being tested in the IELTS test is speaking, and a lot of students struggle with the creation of ideas. I mean, the generation of ideas and how to prepare the part 2 and all that. So let's find out what to do in such circumstances. Okay, so greetings and welcome to another video by OSI's Online IELTS. My name is Anish Patel and I'm the academic head at OSI. So as discussed before, what we are going to do in today's video is cover two things. First of all, we are going to take a look at some strategies on how to prepare for the part 2 of your speaking test. So the part 2 is long term. And the second thing that we are going to take a look at is how to practice generating ideas on a different range of topics. So there are certain ways which you can use through which you can improve your speed of generating ideas. So anyways, without any further delay, let's jump right into the slide. I would like to share some basic ideas with you before we proceed to the strategies. So as you can see on the screen, part 2 is known as long turn in your speaking test. Now in this, you will be assigned a topic. You will be also given 1 minute to prepare, and then you will be given 2 minutes to speak on that given topic. Now the topic will always have 4 bullet points which will help you to decide what to include in your speech. You have to, however, include all of those points in your speech. When the speaking starts, so after the preparation, when the examiner tells you to go ahead and begin your speech, they are allowed you to stop before the 2 minutes is over. So you don't need to worry about that. What you just need to keep in mind is just try and cover all the 4 points as soon as possible and make sure that you give valid and logical reasons for those. So now, as you can see on the screen, these are the 4 criteria that are being judged in the speaking module of the IELTS test. The first one being fluency and coherence. So over here, coherence is similar to that of writing. It means how easy it is for the examiner to follow what you are saying, so to understand what your ideas are and all that. The next one comes here is lexical resource, which is again your vocabulary, similar to that of writing as well. The third one, however, is a bit new. It's pronunciation. Now this one is different. It judges your ability to pronounce different words and the way you use certain features such as intonation. Your accent also matters a little bit, but don't go and try to give a fake accent. Just stick to your natural accent, but make sure that you are easy to understand, clear to listen to, and make sure to emphasize the correct words at the correct time. So for more information on pronunciation features, be sure to check out one of the previous videos in which I have talked about it in detail and given some tips as well. And the last one, as you can see, it's grammatical range and accuracy. Again, exactly the same as the writing task. You have to maintain a range of sentences and also maintain accuracy of your grammar. So these are the 4 criteria that are being judged in the IELTS speaking test. Now, what I would like to do is take a topic for the part 2, and then we'll break it down, what it means and all that, and then I'll show you 2 methods, 2 different methods, one of which you can use in the real test and see if it works out for you. So let's get into the slide and see what our topic is. So there it is. Describe an interesting place that you have visited as a tourist. Now these are the 4 bullet points. Like I mentioned, there is always going to be 4 points accompanying the main topic. So the first one is where this place is. The second one says why you went there. The third one is what you did there, followed by the last one, which is a bit detailed. It asks you to explain why you thought this place was so interesting. Okay, so as you saw on the slide, we always have 4 bullet points like that. Now, in the real exam, the most important thing you need to worry about is that 1 minute they give you to prepare. Now, I know I've experienced it myself. It is 1 minute. They give you the full 60 seconds, but during the exam, it feels as if it was just about 10 to 15 seconds, there is a lot of panic. Now there is nothing much you can do about that, but then still I would request you to try and stay calm. With enough practice of timely preparation and all that, you can still improve on those areas. And if any other things help you, like meditation or something, then yeah, knock yourself out. But for the speaking preparation, be sure that this will happen to you as well. The 1 minute, it will pass so quickly, you have no idea. It would be just like 1, 2, 3, and poof, it's just gone. So here, before we jump into the actual preparation methods, I would like to just mention a few things that you should not do while preparing for the cue card, the long-term topic. First of all, you should not write down whole sentences while you are preparing your speech. Some students have a habit of writing a whole paragraph. Unfortunately, you won't get enough time to be able to finish your entire speech. And obviously, when you write the whole paragraph like that, you'll have to constantly look down and read the speech as if you're not speaking, you're just reading from paper. So don't do that. Just write individual words, the kind of words that remind you what you're supposed to talk about at that particular time. Another thing that I would recommend you don't do is don't focus your time on silly points. So in our topic for today, as you can see on the screen, the first point is where this place is, and the second one is why you went there. So basically, if you're visiting a place as a tourist, obviously you went there to look at some sites or maybe some shopping or something like that, and where the place is. So you don't really need to write down the name of that place when you're preparing for the topic, because obviously you're going to have that name stitched into your mind, and even you will always remember the reason why you went there. So don't waste your time on such normal points. Just focus on the third and the fourth one, because those are the points that will require the most explanation. Now let's discuss the first method that you can use to prepare such a topic. So back to the slides. Now, like we discussed, there are 4 points. So what I prefer to do, and this is something that I did in my own test as well. So first thing you do is you read all the 4 points, obviously, and then you frame a single sentence in your mind. A single sentence that should cover all these 4 points. So for me, a sentence that should cover all these 4 points would look something like this. You can already see it on the screen here. It says that a few weeks ago I visited this place called Udaipur for specifically for shopping and photography, and which is what I did over there with my friends. And it was quite interesting because it is full of these historic buildings, and it is so rich in culture and heritage all over the city. Full stop. So yes, that is a sentence. That is just an example sentence. Now you can choose to frame your sentence in a different way. Try to include some more synonyms in there as well. You might have noticed that I repeated the words from the topic itself, like the word interesting and then the word place. So maybe you can do something else. Try to be more and more creative with this sentence, because this sentence is going to be your opening sentence. And in the opening sentence, if you manage to cover all these 4 points properly, give proper reasoning as well, then it has happened with me. The examiners will just stop you right there. So when I did that in the real exam, I appeared in 2019 for the IELTS Academic. In my speaking, what happened is I just spoke for 10 to maybe 15 seconds. I got finished with my first sentence in the part 2, and they just stopped me right there. So I was kind of getting worried, maybe I did something wrong, but then I did manage to score 8.5 in the speaking module. So we know that this method works, because this way the examiners will get an idea that not only you understood all these 4 points, but you managed to include these points in a single sentence, and you gave accurate and logical reasons for that as well. So what do you mean by logical reasons? Over here, as you can see again on the screen, the last point that says explain why you thought this place was so interesting. So over here, you have to give a reason that sounds believable enough. So for example, if I ask you what is your favorite movie and you just say that it's Harry Potter because I love it so much. So because I love it so much is not an accurate reason. It's not a logical reason. You have to talk something specific to that movie. You can, for example, say that the acting was really impressive even though most of the actors were kids. You can also say that the direction was really great because it was very easy to follow the story even though there are so many complicated storylines within that movie. You can also say that the animation was really good, the background music was really impressive as well. So these are the points that are specific to that movie. If you present them, then it will be assumed that you are giving logical reasons. That's how you justify answering all these different points. So let's go back to the slide and look at the second method that we can use to prepare any topic like this. So again, it is still the same topic, an interesting place you visited as a tourist, where it is, why you went there, what you did there, and why you thought it was interesting. So over here, what I would do is I would recommend this method to candidates who struggle generating enough content. So if you're having troubles generating enough content, what you can do is you can think of different stories that you can talk about. The first story that you can think of should be with past, the second one about present, and the third one about future. So in the past, you can say something very quick like I visited a lot of different places such as Jaipur, Mount Abu, Goa, Mumbai, and so forth for shopping and just hanging out with friends. We did manage to take a lot of pictures, and all of these were quite fascinating because they have a unique thing about themselves. And then you come back to the story of the present. Now in the present story, you can give a longer speech. You can again cover all the 4 points and talk about all these points individually in a little bit more detail. You can describe where this place is and also describe the surrounding areas and all that. You can describe why you went there by giving some background information that you had just finished your exams and you were looking for a place where you can just go and unwind. And you can also say what you did there in a bit detail, not just give a list like shopping, hanging out with friends, eating at fancy restaurants. You can specifically mention why you chose to eat at that particular restaurant. Maybe you heard it from a friend before you went there and all that. And then in the last, you can talk about why it was interesting in even more detail. And then when it comes to future, you can just sort of make some sort of recommendations. Like you can just say that I would highly recommend anyone to visit this place because it has got these many different things. So it caters to different types of people. It is not just for the people who are looking adventure, or for example, if they are looking for just a place to relax. So when you prepare the topic in this way, what happens is that you have enough content to speak on. So if you are fluent enough, but then if you are lacking some content, you don't know what to speak next, then prepare it in this way. You quickly put columns on your preparing sheet, and then you write past, present, and future, and then write individual points in all those columns. And when the time begins, you just go on and finish your speech. So yes, this is the second method. It gives you enough content. Now, one quick thing about the first method which I tried. If you remember, I said that the examiners only stopped me after 10 to 15 seconds. So I was only allowed to speak a single sentence in my part 2. But what would happen if the examiner didn't stop you even though your sentence was perfect? What would you do then? You can't just sit and be quiet. You have to continue speaking. So in that case, what you do is you combine the third and the fourth point and you begin again. So let's quickly jump back to the slide one more time and see what I'm talking about. So the third point over here, like if you remember, it says what you did, and the fourth says why you thought it was interesting. So I would if the examiner didn't stop me after my first sentence, what I would do is I would give them a list of the things that I did there. So I would just start with, so basically the first thing we did when we got there is we went to the local shops. because we have heard that they carry really beautiful handicraft items, which makes it very fascinating, because I'm a huge fan of such items. So if you can see what I did there, I connected the third and the fourth point. I gave them an item, a thing that I did over there, and I also explained that why it was interesting. And then once I'm done explaining that, I can give them another item, another thing that I did there. The next thing we did is we went to this fancy restaurant. It has been rated 3 by Michelin stars, but even though it has been rated such highly, it is not very expensive, which makes it very attractive to the visitors, and which is why I found it quite interesting, because I was wondering how they are able to afford to provide such high quality services even though they are charging so less. So again, you mentioned another thing and then you connected it with the third point. So this is what you can keep on doing until your 2 minutes are up. So yeah, these are the tips and tricks that you can use when you are preparing for your part 2 in the speaking test. So if you have any questions, if you have any further doubts, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I'll make sure to reply it and try my best to be able to clear your concerns. However, I would request you to like our videos, share it with your friends, other people who are preparing for the IELTS test, and yeah, do subscribe to our channel, because there are future videos which are going to be quite interesting as well, so you wouldn't want to miss those. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.